Morning, everybody, and welcome. This week, we look at Jesus confronting the religious leaders, confronting the Pharisees about hypocrisy and about how they say they're following God's will, but not actually doing so. So come on, take a look, and we explore that through a story again. Of course, two sons this time.
Jesus said to the Pharisees and the elders, "What do you think? A man had 2 sons. He went to the first and he said, 'Son, go and work in the vineyard today.' He answered, 'I will not.' But later he changed his mind and he went. The father went to the second son and said to the same. And he answered him, 'I will go, sir.' But he did not go. Which of the 2 did the will of the father?" The Pharisees said, "The first one." Jesus said to them, "Truly I tell you, the tax collector and the prostitutes are going into the kingdom of heaven ahead of you. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe in him. But the tax collectors and prostitutes believed in him, and even after you saw it, you did not change your mind and believe him."
So Jesus uses a story about 2 sons. A father asked 2 sons to do something, to go out to the field to work. First one says no. The second son says yes. I think both answers are emotional. Like the emotional no is in many ways an honest answer. He didn't want to. He might have been busy, caught up in something. Maybe the father was asking him to do something that he wasn't sure of. Maybe he was afraid of or something. The second son, who said yes, but then eventually didn't do it, he also was emotional. And he also made a decision and decided not to do it. Just like the first son made a decision eventually to go. Eventually to listen to his father, to listen to that internal calling inside, to listen to that will or the invitation to go. And so he did. So Jesus says, which one does the Father's will? Well, of course, the first. So for us, how does that fit for us? Most of us aren't religious leaders. I'm not a Pharisee. Most of us aren't power hungry or sort of using, hypocrisy or power playing with Jewish people. So how does it speak to us? In many ways, I speak to us because we too are invited. And like the first son of a lot of us may respond emotionally, no. A gut level response, I don't want it. I don't want to do it. I'm not the right person. Ask somebody else. I can't do that. You got the wrong guy. But if we look at our life, a lot of times when things like that happen, as they unfold, they have a tendency to work themselves out. My own life, I did mission work for a couple years, and then I got into teaching. I wanted to be a history teacher and a football coach. That's it. I got interviewed for a campus ministry religion job. I'm like, what? I can't do that. I don't know. It seems to have worked out now 30 years later. So it's funny how that goes, right? What are the things that we do to dismiss it? Why do we say no? Why do we think we can't do it? And then really, what are we called to? The son eventually listens to the invitation. He listens to his father's will, and he follows it. He does what he's asked to do. What are we called to do now? What are we being invited to? What is God or a father or life circumstances? What is our little intuitive calling circling through our mind or our heart now? What is the restlessness that's inviting us to evolve and grow? I think that's one way this story can speak to us. Because it's an intuition. It's an intuitive calling, right? And to do that, we have to change. We have to change our mind. We have to change our heart. We probably have to even change how we live. That was the prostitutes and the tax collectors. They would have had to repent and change their mind. They would have had to change their life. But yet the kingdom is theirs, as Jesus said. So what are we called to? What can we change? What is a little voice inside of us asking us to do something else? And what are the sort of negative things we're saying, no, not me? And then how do we get past that emotional response? How do we get into our head? How do we trust that invitation? And that perhaps the Father does know and is calling us to our fullest self. Anyway, something to think about. Hope it fits for you. Hope it resonates for you in your life. Hope it has some connections. If it does, trust that instinct. Trust your intuition. Trust that whisper of the voice in your heart. I think that's God speaking to us. Have a great week. Thanks for walking with me. Peace.